everybody, Scourp33 here, and today I'm going to be doing a return to PlushTrap showcase thing. So, a while back I made PlushTrap's head and made a little showcase video on it, and I said that I would eventually make his body, and this is that part 2. His body is ready and complete, and I think he turned out pretty good. So, without much more to say, let's just jump into it, shall we? As you guys can see, I'm in my new location, and I'm starting to fill out the shelves a little bit more. I'm pretty happy with it. And yeah, so as you can see, Plustrap in general is a little bit darker than he was before. I had to repaint his head to kind of match the darkness I did on the body, because when I remixed the paint, it looked originally pretty close, but then when it dried a lot darker, so then I had to go back through and repaint his whole head. So that is what I did, and now I'll just sort of show off the details and stuff. So he comes apart into quite a few pieces. Here is what his head looks like. You guys have seen it before. It's exactly the same, the only difference being the color. It's still kind of dirty and all that. I went through and weathered it again after I painted it a different shade of green. He can still open and close his mouth like so, and his ears still look the same. He does have the 2 holes in the back of his bottom jaw right here let me grab them. I got 2 of these little wooden dowel rods. Pretty much the general gist is if I want him to be able to talk or something, I will put these in the back here, and then I will be able to open and close his mouth without me having to touch the jaw itself. The plan is to paint these either like a bright neon green or a neon blue, depending on what color works best for him, because he's technically green, so if I did them green it might not work so well, so I'm thinking I'm going to try to make them blue, and try to make like a little apparatus thing to be able to open and close it in front of a blue screen instead of a green screen. Same with his little wooden dowel rod here. It's currently painted black, but I'm thinking I'm going to go back through and paint part of it blue, so if I wanted to just record his head alone, I could hold it down here and use the dowel rods and the back of his head and just green screen or blue screen out the rest of me and have it just be his head moving up and down. I hope that makes sense, but that's generally the idea behind the mechanics of the working jaw. Ooh. But yeah, like I said, you guys have already seen his head, and we're going to jump into the new stuff. So first off, I finished his chair a long while ago. I just never painted it, so it's white now, just like the little chair in the hallway. I'm thinking I may or may not have to build a larger size chair, because when he sits on this, he ends up being about this tall. But in the actual game, his chair he sits on, he normally comes up to about here. So I might have to build a larger chair for him to go on, but luckily I made it so that he's not glued down to the chair or anything. So down the line, I might just build him another chair. So it is what it is. So I'm going to do my best to kind of hold him as carefully as possible, because he is actually multiple pieces and I don't want something to accidentally fall off and break while I'm showing you guys. But pretty much the general gist is his head is connected by just a dowel rod and this little hole in the body, and it sits there, and because it's just sitting in there, it's able to rotate and all that, so it can look like his head is posable. If I flip him upside down, he's gonna fall apart, so I'm not gonna do that this time. But yeah, he's still able to open and close his mouth while he's attached to the body, but like I said earlier, I can take his head out and use it separately if I wanted to. Next up, as you can see, his body here has the same sort of stitches that the rest of him has. There's a couple up here you can kind of see, and then it kind of goes all the way around his body. He's got multiple sets of stitches on him. His arms are posable, or at least movable. They were originally posable, but when I added the clay, they became too heavy, and this one likes to stay up, but sadly this arm is now disobeying the laws of physics and not falling, but it would normally fall back down like that. So, as you can see, the arms kind of stay, but then they don't stay nearly as well as I want them to, so I might have to come up with some sort of apparatus to be able to move his arms, because originally I was just going to do it stop motion, where I would move it up slowly at a time, taking pictures and stuff, but if they don't stay halfway up and it just falls back down, it's going to make it very difficult, so I might come up with another way to either use like a dowel rod to sort of push his hand up or something like that. Now both of his arms are able to rotate at the body here, and then also his hands are able to rotate because of magnets. So these pieces are actually able to come off completely. So it's just like a little arm here. And yeah, so his hand looks about like so. Wait, focus, there you go. Only has the 3 fingers because that's what Plustrap has. And I tried to make his hands the scale they are in the game because I was looking at a bunch of pictures, and his hands are actually really small in comparison to his head. So I tried to make them not ginormous. As you can see, they're both roughly the same size, but his head is still a lot bigger, just like in the games and all that. And yeah, so this hand is able to rotate as well, and the arm is also able to come off like this. Yeah, so next up is his legs. As you can see, he's just sort of sitting down. The easiest way to show these is actually to take him apart, so give me 1 second. So his bottom half actually comes off like so. There is a magnet in here and a magnet in the bottom half of his body. And it just comes off so that he has his sitting legs, and it just sort of sits there and connects roughly by a magnet, though if it gets turned on its side, it's not strong enough to hold his whole body on there. So it's mainly just to sort of hold it in place roughly. But as you can see, he's got pretty well detailed feet. I even did the bottoms of them because you can see the bottom of his feet. The only thing I didn't do the bottom of is the booty, because this is the part that actually sits on the chair, and if I put clay on that, it wouldn't have been exactly flat. So yes, he's very flat booty, but you know, it is what it is. Some people are born with it, like Plustrap here. Oh my gosh, that sort of spiraled out of control, didn't it? But yeah, so his little kneecaps, I decided to add like endoskeleton appendages coming out of there, even though this is one piece and it doesn't move or anything. So yeah, I figured it kind of works the best that way. And yeah, so like I was showing off earlier, so there's a magnet in the bottom of his potato body, and on there it's able to connect like so. And the reason I didn't make this one solid piece was because I wanted the ability to remove this and actually set it on a separate pair of legs. So I might do this, I might not, I might just leave him how he is at the moment, but I started another set of legs that will be attached by magnets, and it would basically be like a standing set of legs. So he would have his sitting legs and then his standing legs, and I could use them vice versa in different projects and stuff like that. So that's the general idea. At the moment I have nothing more than this done on the second set of legs, so I might just leave it done and not do anything more with that, or I might just build him another set of legs. At the moment I probably won't be working on him for another long while because I've got plenty of other projects to work on, so I'm going to be working on those next. But yeah, if you guys really want to see me build him a set of standing legs, let me know. Now, one more thing that I think is really cool about Plustrap here is because I didn't actually attach him to the chair like I was originally planning on, he's actually able to sit on most anything. So I can even just sort of put him on the shelf here like this, and just sort of have him sitting on the edge, which I think is kind of cute, honestly. So just the way he's made, if I were to get rid of his chair, I could just display him sitting on the edge of something like so, or I could even build him a larger chair or something to put him on. But yeah, I think he turned out quite well. Now I'll do a couple comparisons with some of my other clay figures, and then we'll wrap the video up there. So first up, we got him compared with PlushTrap. So PlushTrap here is majority like a single piece. His head is separate and both of his hands can move, but other than that, he's like solid and like I can flip him upside down and all that stuff. Plustrap, on the other hand, all of his limbs are like separate pieces, so if I move him around too much, he's just gonna fall apart. But as you can see, they are roughly the same size. Plustrap, if he had standing legs, would actually be taller than Glitchtrap, just like scale-wise to keep the legs consistent. But just like the same size they are right now, they're pretty much the same size. As you can see, I compared Glitchtrap with his head a while back, but now with his full body, Plustrap became quite large, not gonna lie. And yeah, I think both of them look really cool together. And yeah, I think that is the main comparison I wanted to show you guys. But just for the lulz, I'll show you with a couple others. Alright, next up is my very first clay creation, Helpy. As you can see, Helpy is very tiny in comparison, and personally, I don't think he turned out nearly as well as Plustrap did, because he's kind of lean and a little derpy looking. But I think they do look kind of cute together. How he's like, "Oh yeah, look at me, I'm so happy," and he's just like, "I'm gonna eat your face," and all that stuff. But yeah, so as you can see, very small, very big. Alrighty, now for one last comparison, we got Plustrap and the puppet. Now this guy was originally just a head on a dowel rod, but then I decided to build half of his or her body. Pretty sure it's a her, so I'm just gonna say her. But I built the rest of her body, and she ended up being really huge in comparison to a lot of other things. But then, like, I was like, you know, I'm not gonna build the rest of her because she's so spindly. She would be like, at least like that long. So I only built half of her, and she ended up being one of my largest ones until I made Glitchtrap, and now I made Plustrap being the largest guy. So as you can see, Plustrap is already bigger than her and all that. So yeah, it's kind of crazy how I started with just the little Helpy guy, and they're just getting bigger and bigger as we go. So who knows, maybe next I'll do like a nightmare animatronic or something, or maybe I'll just try to do that as a regular puppet. So who knows. Alrighty guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video on my Plustrap puppet, and or just model now at this point. He's technically a puppet, but like it's just the rest of him, so it's like, I guess, Plustrap figure. So the current plan is to use this guy in a couple music videos I have in the works at the moment. I'm recording this video way ahead of the day I'm actually releasing the video, so when you see this video it's going to be like a week from the day I recorded it. But I am using this guy in a couple of my music videos that I have in the works. And yeah, I think he turned out pretty great actually. I'm actually really happy with how he looks now. So yeah, if you guys want to help me out with anything, you could always become a channel member. If not, and you just don't have the money to do that, or just don't want to, you can just subscribe and look out for future builds and stuff like that. And if you want to go the extra mile, you could always subscribe to my gaming channel. I've got a little video up on there now where we play Mario Maker with 4 players. It's complete chaos and hilarious, so I'd highly recommend it. Let's go!
Oh, let me go! Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!
We're almost to the checkpoint. It's fine. Head up.
I can't see! There goes everyone.
So yeah, with that much being said, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and yeah, have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye now. Bye.